to the Trapper. Evan Macmillan idolized his father. It wasn't just that he was a heir to a great fortune, it was the way he ran the estate. Raised under his firm hand, Evan had taken to running the workforce with an iron fist. Production was always high, and the Macmillan estate prospered under father and son. As Archie Macmillan's mental health slowly degenerated, Evan protected him from the herd who wanted a piece of the fortune. No matter what his father asked of him, Evan would do. When Archie Macmillan finally snapped, Evan became his enforcer in what would become known as the worst mass murder in modern history. It never proved that Evan led over 100 men in those dark tunnels before detonating the explosives and selling them to their fate. The tale of the Macmillan estate is a tale of wealth and power gone very wrong. How many victims fell to the hands of father and son is unknown. No record was ever made of what became of Evan Macmillan. His father is another unsolved puzzle and abandoned. And he has a bear trap. A large foothold trap made of steel. Traps are found lying around here waiting to be picked up and set anywhere. Immobilizes and injures trapped victims. Sabotage bear traps automatically respawn after 3 minutes. Easy difficulty, yeah, right. And now we have the Wraith. Philip Ojomo came to this country without anything other than hope for a new beginning. He was happy as he got offered a job at Auto Haven Records, a small scrapyard where bribe cops turned a blind eye on the somewhat shady business that took place. Ojomo didn't care. He had seen criminal activity up close in his homeland. As long as he didn't get involved, he let things be. He just fixed cars and handled the crusher, something he did really well. Car went in, a small metallic cube came out. It was not until one gloomy day that he, just by accident, saw some blood coming from one of the uncrushed cars. As he opened the trunk, he found a young man gagged with hands tied and panic-filled. Ojomo freed the man, who managed to run 10 feet before Ojomo's boss stopped him and slit his throat. As Ojomo demanded answers, he was explaining that he'd be nothing more than a simple executioner, as more or less every car had a soul in them. This was a service the scrap had provided to certain clients. Ojomo snapped and went ballistic. He threw his boss in a crusher and let it slowly compress. As his head stuck out, Ojomo grabbed it and pulled head and spine out of the body, then he left and was never seen again. Power, wailing bell. A heavy cast iron bell imbued with ancient powers allows its users to enter and walk the spirit world when wrong. Grants near total invisibility. Faster movement when invisible. Cannot attack while invisible but can interact with objects. Grants 1 second burst of speed upon reappearing. Exposure to bright light can burn the user out of the spirit world. The wailing bell can be heard up to a distance of 24 meters. Now we have the Hillbilly. The son of wealthy landowners Max and Evelyn Thompson, this unnamed boy was an unwanted child born to South's parents. Hideously disfigured, he was shut away from society. So ashamed they were of their son, they bricked him into a room and fed him through a hole in the wall. When the boy escaped, he took his revenge savagely and terribly slaughtering the parents who had tortured him instead of raising him. After the deed was done, he continued to live his life at the farm, taking out his deranged violence on the animals that were allowed to run free. As he finally broke free from his shackles, he ran through cornfields, chasing and slaughtering whatever he could find. They would never find the bodies of Max and split up and sold off. There was never a buyer for the farmhouse, perhaps because of a sound of a chainsaw you could hear through those hot summer nights. And he has his chainsaw, a hulking and deadly chainsaw of terrifying power, grants through flesh, bone and soul. Once revved up, sends its users into a violent frenzy, break into a crazy sprint and activation. automatically triggers the dying state on a successful hit. Now we have the nurse. Sally Smithson came to town with dreams of children's feet and laughter in a wooden home built by her husband Andrew. And one day Andrew's foreman had to pay Sally a visit, forever changing her life. And probably dead. With no other option, Sally had to find a way where the only employment she could get was at the Protestant Asylum. He started at the bottom, doing the hard and shift. Over the years, her mind had reached its limits. Decades of seeing hard things that violate the eyes. Finally, she could take it no more, and concepts of purification emerged inside her. As the morning staff arrived one day of September, they found over 50 dead patients in their bed, along 4 staff members also dead. Only Sally had survived the night, but her mind was gone, rocking back and forth non-stop. They got her in an ambulance, but that ambulance never reached hospital. It was found crashed in a nearby wood. All the staff dead, and Sally nowhere to be found. Her power, Spencer's last breath. A powerful and violent last breath naturally could to spend Asylum Warden Patrick Spencer. Channeling its energy allows the nurse to pierce and jump through the spirit world in a blink multiple times in a row. Doing so leaves her in a state of fatigue, grants deep blink, grants one additional chain blink. Now we have the shape, more commonly known as Michael Myers. Some humans are simply bad seeds, seeds infused with a distilled and pure form of evil. Michael Myers is one of those seeds. He had no issues with causing the pain of others. Instead, it was exactly what he sought, but even life can be tough on those with minds filled with terror. The difference is just how one goes about to solve those problems. For Michael, he had to kill to find some inner peace. As he took his sister's life, the police found a silent boy dressed as a clown at the scene. When one stumbles upon a growing fire, one does not pour gasoline on it. But this was action taken by officials that had no idea how it would shape this demon in the boy's body. Excuse me. Sending Michael to a mental institution was a feeble attempt to save the child. Unsuccessful therapy and nightly screams just made him even more introvert and deranged. People hoped that Michael Myers would end up as a parenthesis, soon to be forgotten and buried. A failure that soon were to rot away, but then he escaped. In his power, the evil within, the darkness inside feeds his determination to take the life of his prey. Activating evil within allows the shape to see his prey clearly and build up more evil power by stalking them. Evil within's features of powers come with different benefits. Evil within 1, tremendously decreased terror radius. And if you see me on play and like you hear the heartbeat, that's the terror radius. The quicker it beats, the closer the killer is. Yeah. Grants immunity to detection perks, slightly decreased movement speed, slightly decreased lunge. Evil within 2, moderately decreased terror radius, slightly increased movement speed, slightly increased lunge. Evil within 3, normal terror radius, hit survivors suffer from the exposed status effect. Evil within 3 lasts for 60 seconds, after which its power is considerably drained. If a survivor is exposed, one hit put him in a dying state. And this is like from the movie. I went in 15 years ago. I was told there's nothing left, no reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with his blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him and another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind the boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. Dr. Sam Loomis. And then we have the Hag. Lisa Sherwood grew up in a quiet town. The people of the village were kind, and the elders helped settle their disputes. and keep the old traditions alive. Lee was particularly fond of the charms they taught her to draw for safety and good fortune. One night, as she was walking home through the woods, a terrible storm struck without warning. In the slick, wet darkness, she lost her footing and struck her head, slipping in and out of consciousness. She watched dark shapes approach between the trees. Soon they were close enough for her to make out their evil, angry grins. They kept her chained to a wall in a flooded cellar. Through the gloom, she could see others whose open wombs swarmed with flies. They did not survive long once the cannibals began carving bites from their bodies with their rusted blades, but somehow Lisa persisted. Starved and mutilated, her gaunt arms became loose in their shackles. She pulled, and the metal tore through skin and muscle until she was free. Her flesh oozed vicious yellow pus, and bones were visible beneath gangrenous wounds. She could go no further. Delirious, she thought of home. She thought of the elders. She traced the symbols they had taught her. A dark hunger stirred inside of her. It yearned for blood. She chose vengeance. The police search eventually brought them to an old house in the swamp. Its inhabitants had been dismembered and devoured. The elders travelers crawled in blood on the floor. Lisa's body was never found. Her power, the blackened catalyst. The source of the hag's power, a blackened finger used as a catalyst for her terrible power. The hag bends and shapes much to her will with the simple ritualistic drawings. She creates deceitful duplicates of herself made from mud and decay, which she can use for various effects. Grants the ability to create and maintain 10 phantasm traps. Grants the ability to easily travel to a triggered phantasm traps when within a 40-meter range. And we have the cannibal, more commonly known as Leatherface. Whether killers perform their heinous acts by the compulsion of their diseased minds or if they are forced into them by external pressures has long been a matter of debate, but for one killer, nature and nurture are inextricably linked. Leatherface kills not from the desire to exert his will over others, to satisfy carnal urges, or to even quiet the voices in his head. He kills because he is scared that others will hurt him, scared that his family will be displeased with him, scared that the sheer willingness to eat human flesh will be discovered. He does as he is told. His family loves him, and that is all that matters. Outsiders are a threat, and threats need to be dealt with. So, not that. He is not just a protector, he has many roles, and each role has his own face. He serves dinner, cares for the family, dresses well when they eat. His grandpa and ma used to care for them all, but grandpa is old now, and she has been still for a while, so Leatherface and his brothers had to take over. Family is everything to him. Family is his security and safety. But even though he did his best, one of the kids got away. He tried to stop her, chasing after her as fast as he could, but she had help. Another outsider driving a truck. The evil trucker killed his brother, ran him over like he was a possum. In a fury, Leatherface leapt at him. They saw ready to avenge his family, but the trucker was too quick. He knocked Leatherface aside and turned his own saw against him. As he watched the outsider driving away, the rage, grief, and pain combined with the worry about what would happen to his family. They would surely return with the police, and the police would take his brothers and his grandpa. Without them, what would he do? Without their commands, he'd wither and die. It's from me to reach. No. As his aura collapsed, the face spun in circle. Yeah. And as his world collapsed, the face spun in circles, swinging the saw all around, trying to fight off the myriad external threats that surrounded him. Then another feeling overtook him. It came from outside his vision, crawling over his skin with cold dread. He realized that no matter what outsiders could do to him, there was something worse, something bigger that lived in the shadows. He was filled with terror, unlike any he had ever felt before. But it was almost comforting, like the fear he'd felt with his family, the fear of disappointing them. He was brought to a place that was familiar but unknowable, and he instinctively knew what he had to do. He couldn't fail it the way he had his family. Outsiders would come, but would use his skills to overcome any threats. They would be screaming, but he could make the world quiet again until the only sound remaining was the blessed howl of a saw. Let the outsiders come. And he also has a chainsaw, referred to as Bubba's chainsaw, and it's an incredibly powerful and heavy chainsaw which sank its teeth into countless victims. A suitable birthday gift for the cannibal. Start at time, sweeping attack and activation. Can hit multiple targets in one chainsaw charge. Running into object forces the cannibal into a tantrum. His attack damages anyone around him. Automatically puts victims in a dying state on a successful hit. And Billy Owen pretty much just go straight forward, just go forward in a line. Really can turn with it, but still maintain that line. Fimo is like sweep side to side and then go forward a bit, but not as far as tall. Showing exceptional aptitude in psychology, Herman was handpicked for special training in an advanced neuroscience program located in a secret blacksmith facility in Illinois known as the Leroy Memorial Institute. Really a front for the CIA. Since where Herman met Dr. Otto Stamper were under his guidance, Herman began to use strange and ever increasingly vicious methods to extract information from prisoners sent to the institute, which was also a covered prison and re-education center for whoever was US's current nemesis. His liberal use of violent electroshock therapy revealed dramatic results, and several threats to national security were uncovered. Over the years, Herman became known as the Doctor, and no one ever questioned it if he ever had a medical certificate or even what happened to the prisoners after they had given up their information. It was only after the Leroy Memorial Institute went silent for a week that the true horror was finally discovered. The personnel, patients, and prisoners were all found dead with all types of head trauma. All the personnel and prisoners' bodies were accounted for, including Dr. Otto Stamper, but no sign of Herman the Dr. Carter. As always, when they're missing the entity, which is what controls all of this, bring them there. So yeah, and his power caught a spark. Is it a gift or a curse? The entity has ignited a corrupted and inexhaustible spark in the Doctor's heart, which allows him to generate electroconclusive power at will. His insidious treatment corrupts the mind of those it touches, makes them shocked by the corrupt spark, begin to lose their grip on reality, and if it creates exposure, inevitably succumb to madness. Switch stance. The punishment mode is used to injure survivors. Treatment, quote unquote, grants the ability to static field and shock therapy. Static field, while in treatment, generate a static field equal to your terror radius, which increases survivor madness based on the proximity to the Doctor. Shock therapy. Treatment mode grants the ability to charge and release a shock therapy attack that greatly increases survivor's madness. Madness tier 1 causes survivors to scream, revealing a position to the Doctor. Madness tier 2, all effects of tier 1 causes survivors to experience shared hallucination. Madness tier 3, all effects of tier 2 shared hallucinations intensify, allowing the Doctor to read their aura. Survivors regular scream, revealing their position to the Doctor. Survivors can heal, repair, sabotage, search, or cleanse until they snap out of it. More afflictions are available with add-ons. the huntress. As soon as Anna was able to walk, her mother started teaching her to survive a harsh, solitary life in the northern woods. Living in such an extremely remote and dangerous area requires skill and resilience. When sunlight became too dim for productive activities, they would take refuge in their house, a sturdy old cabin constructed to resist the toughest winters, close to the harsh warmth. And I would rest in her mother's arms, surrounded by the fueling toys and masks she had crafted for her, dripping off the sleepy stories and lullabies. She dreamt happy dreams, ignorant of events that would soon change everything. Anna and her mother were stalking a great elk through the woods. They knew it was dangerous prey, but it had been a particularly difficult winter and they were almost out of food. The spectre of starvation frightened them more than any first creature. Without warning, the elk reared, bellowed, and charged at Anna. She was paralyzed with fear as the whole world seemed to shake under the immense beast-pounding hooves. The elk was close enough for Anna to see the murderous fury in its eyes when her mother threw herself in its path. Axe in hand, a blood-curdling scream escaped from her lips as the elk impaled her upon its antlers and hoisted her into the air. With all her strength, she brought the axe down on its head again and again while it tried to shake her loose. With a sickening crack, the antlers snapped and Anna's mother was free. The beast collapsed. Anna was too small to move her mother's broken body, so she sat with her in the clearing where she had fallen to distract her from the dying elk cries. As mother held her and hummed her favorite lullaby, they stayed like that. The huntress and the elk getting quieter and colder until Anna was alone in the silent forest. Eventually she stood up and started a long walk back home. Still a child, she knew just enough about life in the frozen forest to survive. She followed her instincts and became one of the wild. She got older and stronger and practiced her hunt. As she grew into a dangerous predator, her humanity became half-remembered dream. She widened her territory and lived off her hunt. She worked her way through squirrels and hares and mink and foxes. Eventually she grew tired of them and hunted more dangerous animals like wolves and bears. When unsuspecting travelers came through her woods, she discovered her new favorite prey, humans. Lucky souls who strayed into her territory were slaughtered like any other animal. She liked to collect their tools and colorful garments, especially toys when there was little ones, but she could never bring herself to kill little girls. Girls she take back to her house deep in the woods. They were precious, and looking at them woke up something deep in her heart. She craved the clothes of a loved one, a child of her own. Among the pillaged wooden toys, dolls, and storybooks she couldn't read, the girls would be tied by the neck with a rough and chafing rope fastened firmly to the wall. She couldn't let them wander off, or they would surely die outside. Every time the girls would waste away and die of cold or starvation or sickness. Every time it plunged Anna deeper into pain and sorrow. On Monday, she was compelled to try again and started reading the nearest villages to slaughter families and kidnap their daughters. She wore one of the animal masks her mother crafted for her so many years earlier to try to calm the frightened children. Villages spread the legend of a half-beast lurking in the red forest, a huntress who killed men and ate little girls. War eventually came to the forest. German soldiers began to pass through on a march to attack the collapsing Russian Empire. During these dark times, there were no more travelers. The villagers had abandoned their homes and no more zones to be found, only soldiers. Many of them were found with violent actions, while groups disappeared mysteriously. Once war was over, the rumors of the huntress disappeared with it, engulfed by the red forest. Her power, hunting hatchets, A skill taught by her mother and mastered in the wild, the huntress can hurl hatchets with deadly precision. Start the child with 5 hatchets, charged through for maximum speed. Refill hatchets at lockers. Up next we have the Nightmare, more commonly known as Freddy Krueger. Yeah. Even while he lived, Freddy Krueger was a creature of nightmare for those who truly knew him, hiding behind a mask of warmth and friendliness. Freddy's actual temperament was only known to his victims. When those victims were finally heard, the parents of Springwood tracked Freddy down and took the law into their hands. They thought fire had rid them of a monster that night, so that their children were finally safe. But evil as strong as his as a way of surviving. Years passed, the horror was buried, the victims mercifully forgot, then somehow Freddy returned, and dreams became nightmares once again. Freddy focused his anger on those and he felt had wronged him, building up to his one true obsession, Nancy Holbrook. But he underestimated their strength and resourcefulness, and together with their friend Quinton, she managed to weaken Freddy, mutilating him and leaving him for dead once more. Death didn't want Freddy the first time he encountered it. Why did they think he would take him? Now he emerged once more, consumed with vengeance. Then he turned his sights onto the boy who had blocked his path to Nancy, his number one. Freddy invaded Quinton's dream, terrorizing him night after night, until his strength and defenses would be at their lowest. When the time was right, he forced aborted to return to the dark reflection of Badham Preschool and would have his final revenge. Freddy stalked the boy through the school halls. He took his time, savoring every moment of the hunt. This was what he enjoyed the most. The smell of their sweat in the air, their ragged gasp of their terrified breath. They were his to play with. There was a boy at the end of a long corridor, too tired and scared anymore. Resigned to his fate, Freddy closed in, arms wide, claws raking the wall, their tips straight along a pipe. Metallic shrieking only added to the boy's apprehension. A shower of sparks rained on the ground, and into the liquid that covered the tile floor, a blue flame blossomed and quickly engulfed the room. The boy took flight as Freddy burst on the flames in a fury. Rooms and walls raced past in a blur until they were in Freddy's basement. There would be no escape from here. Slowly, Freddy closed in on the boy. His fear was so strong that Freddy could almost taste it, but his eyes burned with a defiant hatred that was almost admirable. Freddy drew back his claws, then Freddy felt another presence with him, something old, powerful, and dark. A miasma enveloped him, and the only sensation was a sound like wooden beam flexing and creaking in the distance, the echoing groan of a metal crushed against metal, something arcane and unknowable, halfway between language and pure terror. There was a moment of falling and spinning, and then Freddy was back in school, but not his school. He looked the same, but he felt different. His powers were tempered in some ways and focused in others. The boy had gone for now, but other prey walked the hallways. Some would be inconsequential, others would become his new favorites. All would fall before his claws. His power, Dream Demon. Death won't accept him, and thus he remains a calamity in his little master of his victim's nightmare. Dream Demon allows the nightmare to pull survivors into the dream world. Survivors who are awake do not see the nightmare. Once targeted by the nightmare's power, survivors enter the dream transition for a very short time. During the dream transition, they can see the nightmare. When the dream transition lapses, the survivor is pulled into the dream world. Once in the dream world, survivors are revealed to the nightmare when they're outside of its radius. Survivors suffer from an action speed penalty of 50% to let me turn up this. Yes or no? I can hardly hear you. that's good. That's good. Shoot me with it anyways, so. So it's good, so I should finish with it. Yep. Yes, I'm 100% sure. So back to you guys. Survivor suffer from an action speed penalty of 50%. To exit the dream where survivors can find and sleeping survivors to perform a wake up action. Some failed action can also wake up. Hooked survivors wake up. Freddy is one of the most annoying persons to play against. Hate him. Hate him. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more is left. And you have the pig, which is from the Saw. I'll just say down here, so. When John Kramer, better known as Jigsaw, planned for his son to be born in the Chinese zodiac year of the pig, he wanted it to represent fertility and rebirth, a new beginning for him and his wife, and the start of a charmed life for his son. But that plan was shattered on the night that a junkie broke into his wife's clinic, hoping to score. After this event resulted in the death of his unborn son, John finally caught up with the junkie, making him his first test subject, and the pig was changed forever too. It became a representation of a disease that's rotting John from the inside, a reminder that we're just meat unless we elevate ourselves through our actions by grasping life from the jaws of death. The pig became a vessel, an agent of a Jigsaw, conveying subjects to their tests. For some of those who emerged victorious, the pig could still be a rebirth into their new lives as apprentices, even disciples of Jigsaw. That was the case for Amanda Young, a troubled soul whose life had been a catalogue of harm, both to herself and those around her, that changed when she faced and bested Jigsaw's test. Deciding her life was worth something, she became devoted to Jigsaw's cause, ready to take over when a cancer consumed him. Not so far. But she became more dependent on John, her anguish at his impending death combining with a belief that their test subjects were incapable of saving themselves, of being reborn in a crucible of games. Seeing this, John presented her with another game, another chance to save herself, but Amanda let her rage and jealousy rule her actions. She failed the test and took a bullet as a consequence. Bleeding out on the tile floor, darkness engulfed Amanda's vision, accompanied by a sunlight creaking hood. Then she was in a forest, once more viewing the world through the eyes of a pig. Trees surrounded her, their branches crawling at her from all sides. Waves of panic washed over her, and she could hear her breath vibrating inside the mask. Had she been damned cursed to spend her days here in disguise, or maybe this was another test. Maybe she hadn't failed at all. John always thought once ahead of everyone else, planned for every eventuality, and he would never give up on her surely. Jigsaw may have gone, but he had passed her on to another, a being of whom she would be the pig again. Ultimately, she saw now that she had been right in the choices she made. The time for games was over. There is no chance of redemption for any of them. They were meat, and meat was destined for slaughter. And her power, Jigsaw's baptism, for devoted in her master's cause, she punishes ungrateful and the guilty with slyness and murderous puzzles. The pig can move stealthily, dash in ambush attacks, and put deadly reverse bear traps on survivors' heads using a secondary paw interaction to assume a crouching position. While crouching, the pig has no terror radius. Activate attack interaction to dash and perform an ambush attack. You start the trial with 4 reverse bear traps. Reverse bear traps are put on dying survivors. Reverse bear traps automatically kill the survivor when they trigger. Reverse bear traps trigger automatically beyond the exit gate. Reverse bear traps trigger once their time has expired. Reverse bear traps timer starts when the generator is completed. Survivors can free themselves from reverse bear traps by searching jigsaw boxes for the map to find the correct key. You will give everything to me, every cell in your body, the marks on your arms. They are for another life. They leave that life behind you. When you walk down the corridor, there is no turning back. Do you understand that? Jigsaw's baptism. She is generally bad to play against. And now we have the clown. Kenneth Chase was born in 1932 by a difficult labor, which his mother wouldn't survive. This even drove a rift between him and his father that never closed. As the boy grew, so did his father's resentment and his drinking habits. By the time Kenneth was at school, they lived mostly separate lives. Academically, he was unremarkable, coasting by on his significant athletic prowess. He grew tall and strong, excelling at track events, but shunned any attempts to coax him into team sports. On his walk from school, he'd often find feathers on the ground, and he soon began collection, keeping them in a cigar box under his bed. With his father either at work or in an alcohol-induced stupor, Kenneth had hours to spend alone, transfixed by the regularity of the feathered barbs and feeling of softness as he ran them over his lips. Watching the birds that came to the field in his garden, he imagined how soft they must be and resolved to catch one. He ingratiated himself with the local dentist, soon procuring some anesthetic. Using this, he drew a trap on the feeder that he hoped would knock out a bird long enough that he could touch it. After a few failed attempts, he managed to trap a robin. As he lay in his hand, he felt a sudden rush of life at his mercy. He had planned to release it once he recovered from the anesthetic. Instead, as soon as his eyes flickered back into consciousness and he began to struggle, his grip remained firm. His fingers slowly tightened around his throat, squeezing until his chest were finally still. He disposed of the body, keeping just a feather, in which he started a new collection, discarding the others as fake. By the late 1940s, Kenneth had left school and started working as a busboy at a local diner. He had also escalated to larger prey like squirrels, raccoons, and dogs, becoming skilled at customizing anesthetic dosage for each. In early 1954, a young man went missing and the town was turned upside down in a search. A few months later, Kenneth's father, while doing some work in a crawl space under the house, found a cigar box. He broke it open and to his horror that it contained feathers, animal paws, and a man's finger. Turning from where Kenneth saw his father leaving the crawl space with a cigar box in his hand, he turned on his heel and never went home again. After a few weeks of living rough, he encountered a traveling circus, and his prodigious strength was hired to work the ropes. He assumed a new name, Jeffrey Hawk. Suddenly surrounded by a close-knit community, Jeffrey had to learn to socialize. He donned a new personality like a disguise, quickly becoming known as charming and helpful, and was welcomed into his new family. Over the next decade, he stayed at the circus, traveling the length and breadth of the USA, but with the internet life providing few repercussions, he fell into bad habits, drink, junk food, drugs. He indulged all of them to excess, but for a time these vices were enough, but then his old urges returned, and his known existence became a cover for him to resume killing. He stole clothes and makeup from performers, fashioning a disguise that would let him get close to victims before he anesthetized them, bringing them back to his caravan, where they'd awake to find himself bound and at his mercy. He would finally get to have his fun, mentally and physically torturing them, the extreme fueling him before being lost in the night. Once their strength was at its lowest, he would carefully examine their fingers, searching for the prettiest, running his tongue to find the tastiest one. Once he found the best, he would cut it from their hand and probably add it to his collection, disposing of the rest of the body as pointless waste. Men, women, young, old, he didn't care. The essence of a good collection is in the variety and the memories and stories they evoke. He removed the costumes establishing his old person with it, fully embracing the clown, his true self. With time, he became complacent and sloppy. A victim managed to work free of her abandons while he was sleeping off the drink. She escaped, screaming for help, and he awoke to find the rest of the circus bearing down on him. He with his horse and the caravan disappeared into the night. Since then, he has roamed the country, a parasite who would always be found at a carnival or a circus, but who would never be seen on any playbill. He lured those brave or foolish enough to come near, trap them, and move on before they could be found missing. Somewhere along the way, he left the ordinary road of USA behind him, traveling through a veil of mist and entering a new world. It was a place of transience and impermanence, perfectly suiting the life he had chosen to lead. Feeling more at home than he had his entire life, he set up camp and waited for his first visitor. And he has the after peace tonic. Throughout his years experiment with anesthesia, whatever that word, and most relaxant, the clown developed several effective concoctions and formulas. His favorite, the after peace tonic, he used to a great effect, intoxicating and capturing many unwilling victims. Tap or hold and release the power button to launch a bottle of the after peace tonic on contact. The bottle will break, emitting a gas cloud that will intoxicate any survivors within the area of effect. Intoxicated survivors will suffer from the impaired vision, reduced movement speed, and involuntary coughing for 2 seconds. Press and hold active ability to replenish your bottles of the after peace tonic. And one of you afraid of the spirit. Rin was the only child of the Yamoka family. She was raised in the dusty halls, a traditional house in Kagawa. She studied education at Takamatsu, a private university, which weighed heavily on her family's shaky finances. Her mother got ill that year and the bills started piling up. Rin worked part-time in a futile attempt to land the load. Her father faced a debt that grew without end. He started working double shifts in hopes of obtaining a promotion. That's when he started losing sleep. A dark whisper would keep him awake all night, reminding him of his hopeless situation. Exhausted, he started to lose grasp of reality, fighting denying what the voices were that night. Rin's father made a desperate move. He met with his superior and explained his situation. He begged for a bonus and advance, time off, anything. His request was denied. The company had launched a defective production line that was costing them dearly. Someone had to be held accountable, and his father fitted the bill perfectly. He was fired after 22 years of service. That evening, Rin came home from work. She stayed late and entertained customers that lingered at the restaurant. As she parked her bike in the shed, she heard her mother scream from the house. She rushed in, climbing up the stairs to her parents' room. There, she found bits and pieces of her mother on the floor. Her limbs were clean cut, tangled up in a natural position. Her breasts were sliced up, revealing her rib cage was cracked open. In gagged, a sharp katana came crashing down. Rin blocked the blade, which bit into her forearm. The shock of recognition interrupted her pain. Her father was wielding the katana with a stoic expression. She cried out to make him stop, but he slashed her arm again. She rushed off and slid on the blood-smeared floor. Using the door frame as support, she raised herself up. The katana ripped through the wall, cleaving her other arm. She screamed in pain as she limped only to the hallway, only to be met by her father's blade. She stepped back trembling as she held together the soft, loose flesh of her abdomen. The image of her mother's tangled limbs flashed before her eyes. She ran in charge at her father, making him stumble back. He punched her torn abdomen and she returned in pain. As she struggled to get back up, he slashed her thigh, making her collapse on the floor. As she crawled towards the stairs, he grabbed her hair, yanked her against a partition. The glass shattered on impact, and she fell through, landing one floor down. She had foot was somewhere above her. With effort, she moved, worming her way into a sea of broken glass. The shards nodded at her, ripping her flesh. She had to be stopped. She would not get away with what he had done to her, which he had done to her mother. Coughing up blood, her chin grazed the glass, adding to the bleeding. A low-pitched heartbeat started in her ears. Her body felt so heavy she could no longer move. The ground shook with her father's footsteps. She knew she was not going to make it, but she no longer cared. She would make him pay. In this life or the next, a dark fog slowly veiled her eyes. It could not subdue her rage. She would not rest, not yet. The darkness whispered, promising blood and revenge. An oath was made, and Rin closed her eyes. Her ability, Yamoka's Haunting. The spirits can use their power. Yamoka's Haunting to enter either a plane and reappear at a new location. Tap on hold upon a button to charge. The spirit is part of her physical body, leaving behind a stationary husk. While Yamoka's Haunting is active, the spirit may traverse freely to a new location, moving at a faster rate for a short duration. She is still confined to moving within the physical environment and surroundings. The spirit leaves the physical plane in sight of all survivors. She can, however, still sense the scratch marks they leave in the environment. The spirit will produce an audible cue at her current location. Once the power has ended, the spirit retains her speed boost for a brief period and her husk fades away. Losing Yamoka's Haunting depletes spirit's power bar. Power bar automatically replenished over time. The power bar must be fully replenished before it can be triggered again. Also annoying to play against. Yeah. And last, we have the Legion. Frank Morrison was 19 and had little to show for it. He'd stopped attending school after being kicked out of the basketball team for shoving a referee into the stands. Yet Frank was a man of potential who could light up a room despite his bleak childhood. At 6 years old, he had been taken away from Calgary to start a circuit of foster homes. No matter how many times he lashed out through tantrums and got into fights, they kept moving him to a new Stephen went to new and female hosts. His last move had been 3 years prior when his last foster dad, Clive Andrews, had picked him up from the adoption center. They'd been on the road for 7 hours before reaching a small bungalow in Ormond. It would be the longest time they spent together. Clive was too busy trading checks from family services for drinks at the bar. Ormond was a small, stale place, a remote town of 6,000 inhabitants where grey winters dragged on for most of the year. Frank did everything he could get into another adoptive family, but he changed his mind when he caught the attention of a beautiful girl. Boom boom, a demon, problems, stress, everything. Julie was a popular girl who was convinced that she deserved better than a life in Ormond, and Frank, as an outsider, was her ticket out. Frank attended the party she threw where everyone was younger than him and easily impressed, which he liked. He met the impulsive Joey, who liked to show off, and the shy and naive Susie, who was Julie's best friend. They would hang out at an abandoned lodge of Mount Ormond, where times was a perfect break from the boring conformity of their small, insignificant, everyday lives. Frank had an opportunity to shape their lack of experience into something powerful. He lined up nights of debauchery and rampage, testing their limits. Bullying, vandalism, and theft were essentially their weekend plans. It came to a point where they'd do anything he asked. Nothing was off limits. When they put their mask on, one evening Frank dared Joey to vandalize a store that they had recently fired. They snuck inside easily enough, as the building was supposed to be empty after closing hours, but a cleaner was still there, grabbed Julie as soon as she came near. Hearing her stifled cries, a dark impulse took over Frank. He rushed her head knife in hand, and without hesitation planted the blade into the cleaner's back. As the group stayed at Frank in shock, he ordered them to finish the job. Joe clenched his jaw, grabbed a knife, and saw the bleeding man in his ribs. Susie didn't want to do it. Frank shouted at her they had to finish what they started. Julie closed her eyes and jabbed a knife into the man's chest. She handed the wet blade to Susie. They were all in this together. Susie stared at Julie in disbelief as Frank grabbed her trembling hands and inserted the knife deep into the man's throat. Frank told him to move fast. They mopped the blood off the floor, stashed the body in the trunk of Joe's car, and drove up more Orman, all four digging in the muddy snow. They disposed of the body when Frank spotted something moving through the woods. He grabbed his knife and broke from the roof to check it out. The fog thickened around Frank. He had become so dense that he soon no longer see ahead. He retraced his steps and stumbled on an ominous trail. He followed the airy path as if called by the darkness. Julie, Susie, and Joe finished digging when Frank was nowhere to be seen. Julie spotted his muddy footsteps in the snow and instead of them followed the trail, which led them deeper into the woods. When Julie, Susie, and Joe didn't return home that night, their parents saw they ran away with Frank. Each family came up with a different theory. The mood of the town changed, however, when a body was found up by an abandoned lodge by Mount Wortmont. Legion, extremely annoying to play against. His power now. Feral Frenzy. Legion has a frenzy power gauge that builds up over time. The power of Feral Frenzy can be activated by tapping the power button. While active, the power gauge drains rapidly. The power ends when the gate is empty, triggering an extended recovery cooldown. When activating Feral Frenzy, the Legion enters a deadly state. While the power is active, the Legion sprints faster than base movement speed. The Legion can involve pilots but cannot break them, so while scratch marks are hidden from the killer's view, makes attacks have a reduced cooldown. While Feral Frenzy is active, hitting a survivor who is not currently affected with a deep wound sense effect applies. The deep wound sense effects injures the survivor if they are not already injured, refills the killer's entire power gauge, increases the killer's steadiness for the duration of the power, triggers killer instinct to reveal the location of all survivors who do not have the deep wound status effect applied and are within the killer's cell radius. While Feral Frenzy is active, hitting a survivor who is currently afflicted with the deep wound status effect loses a portion of the survivor's deep wound bleed out timer, depletes the killer's entire power gauge, and ends the power immediately. Hitting a survivor with a basic attack while Feral Frenzy is active will deplete the killer's entire power gauge. That is everybody. That's the chopper. That's the wraith. I must say, cutlass, machete, if you want to call it. The wraith. The time boss, spine, and skull. Hillbilly, fiend chainsaw, and a mallet. Nurse, Dr. Blade, whatever I'm call that. The hog used their hand, which is on one who did that. Doctor, which I don't know. Now that thingy. Leatherface, mallet, chainsaw. You hear both of them chainsaw. They look different and them hold them different. Yeah. Huntress, Shavir axe, clown, no butterfly knife, Legion, now him, so best we can do. Spirit, so you can see chop up. Pig, Freddy, Michael, And then all these survivors have their backstory too. I'm care about with that now. Oh, and for every kill there is a survivor. Like for Freddy Owen, I mentioned Quinton. Yeah, that's Quinton. Sometimes I can't go through that now. Where's Meg? Um, what? behind the game will go poorly, but try my best. This game is gonna be annoying. For this one. What? I hear you. Hey, I got the trophy. Hey. Wow. fuck. Why would you? That no count. That no count. Find the hut, please. Please find the hut. Go to the hut, go to the hut. Yes, I got the trophy. I got the trophy. Big up yourself. I got the trophy. ready with rowing. Producer in there. up now. order box there. Feel like I'm gonna regret this, but
Yes. About time. Hear her, but I can't tell what she did. generator the model. Never ordered that. one gate it is so. One gate over here so. That not touch. That not touch. Even a touch. What? Not touched. Oh, bitches, lucky. Fucking time.